In a small village lived a beautiful princess called Simi. Simi was cherished by all the men in the village because she was very beautiful. But there was a huge problem with her. She was a thief. Upon all the jewelry and fancy things she was given, she was still not content. Every night, this young princess would go out and look for houses that look glamorous to steal from. Because it was an everyday act, she was so skilled to the point that she could even manage to squeeze herself through a tight window in order to take whatever she wanted to. One night, Simi went out to steal as usual. While she was leaving, she unintentionally made some noise. This woke her parents up. They were surprised to see her leave the house that late. They immediately thought that it was strange and decided to follow her the next day if it happened again. When Simi came back home, she laid on the bed as if she was in the room the whole time. She tossed the luggage she was carrying under the bed. The next day, she picked up the luggage that was filled with lots of money and gold and smiled at it. Yesterday was my lucky day, she said to herself. She went out and had breakfast with her parents as usual. At the table, her parents asked her why she looked like she didn't get any sleep. She quickly ignored the question and kept eating. That evening, she went out again thinking she would be lucky as before. Little did she know that her parents were following her. She got to a building and decided to jump the wall. Just when she was about to, her parents screamed her name. Simi, what are you doing? They were in great shock because they never knew this side of their only daughter. They sent her back home and sat her down to talk to her. Simi pretended she was remorseful and her parents let her go. That evening, Simi tried to steal again from another house. When her parents found out, they made a decision to lock her in her room. For them, it was a very big shame which they wanted to avoid. For some time, Simi was never found outside. This made her friends very worried. They went to Simi's house to see her, but her parents refused to let them in. They told them not to come to see Simi ever again. Simi was very sad and pleaded with her parents, but they didn't listen. They were worried Simi would repeat her actions and bring shame to them. They wanted to prevent everyone from finding out at all costs because they were known to be one of the most powerful and respectful family in the village. One day, while they were discussing their daughter, they heard a knock on the door. She quickly went out to check on who that was. To their surprise, it was Ibu. Ibu was known to be the richest person in the entire village. He had just come back from the States and was so powerful. Every girl admired him, including Simi. Simi's mother quickly let him in and gave him a seat. Once they were both settled, Simi's parents asked him why he was there. Ibu replied by saying, I am here to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. When her parents heard this, they were in great shock. This is unexpected, they both said to themselves. All this while, Simi had heard everything and was so happy about it because she liked Ibu very much. Simi's parents knew their daughter will be exposed once she gets married and leave the house, so they quickly told Ibu that they would not agree to his request, but Ibu kept persisting. Ibu kept coming to the house every day and her parents kept refusing until one day they agreed, seeing how the young man was determined to marry Simi. Arrangements were made and Ibu married Simi. That evening, before Simi was sent to her husband's house, her parents advised her for several hours to stop stealing. and if she does not, her marriage will come to an end. Simi then left her parents' house with a joyful heart after telling them she won't steal anymore. It had been several months since Simi was married to Ibu. These months passed by without Simi stealing anything. They lived in a luxurious mansion in a city. Ibu was indeed very rich. One day, Ibu went to work and left Simi with her sister Nanda. Immediately Ibu left, Simi went inside Ibu's office to search for the money she saw Ibu counting the other day. She found it and quickly hid it in her skirt. On her way out, she saw Nanda, Ibu's sister, staring at her with a surprised look. Nanda quickly went out and took a phone to call his brother Ibu, but Simi quickly took the phone and destroyed it. She locked Nanda in her room and waited till Ibu had come from work. When Ibu entered, Simi started to narrate everything to Ibu, saying she caught her sister stealing and she locked her in a room to prevent her from leaving the house. When Ibu heard this, he was so sad because he never knew his sister to be a thief, but he still decided to believe Simi's story because he was so in love with her. Ibu then sacked her sister out of the house. From that day, the two of them lived alone in the mansion. One day, Ibu could not find a gold bar he placed in his safe. He was so alarmed because he was the only one who knew the code to the safe. He then asked his wife, "Simi, have you seen the bar of gold I placed in my safe?" Simi responded by saying she didn't know where it was. This behavior continued for some time. This made him suspicious of Simi. He secretly arranged for a camera to be installed in the house and kept quiet about it. 2 days later, Ibu placed another gold bar in the safe to see who would come for it. He then monitored the camera every day. One day, Ibu went to check the safe and realized the gold bar was gone. He ran to check the cameras and saw Simi taking it at night. He also realized that there was something strange about Simi. A shadow was right behind her when she was stealing the gold bar. He came to the conclusion that Simi was possessed by a spirit. That's why she kept on stealing. Ibu wanted to forgive Simi after confronting her about it, but he had a change of heart after hearing that Simi lied about her sister stealing from him. Ibu sacked her from the house and told her never to return. Simi pleaded, but Ibu did not listen. Simi then went back home with her luggage. Immediately her parents saw her, they knew what had happened. They asked Simi, "Did you steal from your husband?" She confessed everything and her parents consoled her. That evening, Simi's parents went to Ibu's house in the city to plead even more, but to their surprise, Ibu told them he had seen a shadow behind Simi, so they should look into it. When Simi's parents heard this, they rushed back home and started looking for ways to help their daughter. They searched really hard until they found one. Soon, Simi had stopped stealing and got married to another wealthy man in the village. They then lived happily and had so many kids. Ibu visited her regularly, but he knew very well that he was still in love with her.